Hi, you guys. Welcome to day 19 of Hot Topics and Cool Drinks. This event is created exclusively for adults 50 and over, especially for those of us who are corporate executives, past or present, entrepreneurs, educators, and family stewards. Parts of households that have invested in private education and people who understand that values, not trends, are what guide families. Each evening, we gather here to center ourselves in clarity and conversation, and every night includes a featured book that aligns with purpose, legacy, and awareness, a wellness tip for women navigating menopause, a discussion about parenting in today's digital world where online cruelty, misinformation, and influence culture challenges everything that we've built. And yes, every night begins and ends with a poem from my book, She Shines Anyway, 76 poems for the woman who refuses to dim her light. I'm your host, Antoinette Wolf, a mother, a former corporate executive who turned philanthropist, licensed real estate agent, entrepreneur, writer, and legacy builder. And tonight we're diving into the world of finance, investing, and long-term wealth protection. Now, before I read our first poem for the night, let me share with you what we're going to be covering. We're going to first cover our featured book, which is Stay Mad for Life by Jim Cramer. Next, in the business corner, I'll connect lessons from that book on how corporate executives transitioning into their own business can apply them today. Then our hot topic is Pulling from Emotional Intelligence 2.0, exploring culture, EQ, and the global economy. We're in 2025 lens on whether China is still America's biggest competitor. And finally, we'll wrap with a recap and another poem from She Shines Anyway. Now, before I go into that poem, let me share with you what my featured drink of the night is. This is actually one of my favorites from Fever Tree. It's only 35 calories, and this is called Sparkling Cucumber. It is delicious, and I want to know in the comments what's your drink of the night, okay? And also, let's go ahead and have a toast to tonight, okay? It's Monday night. Welcome back, by the way. Let's have a toast to tonight. This drink is delish. For me, it's a 8.5, okay? I love it. I love this drink. It is perfect. And it smells so good. It does. It smells so good. Now, I'm a cucumber fanatic, so it could be a me thing, but yeah, I love it. It's delicious. It's almost kosher. Okay. So yeah, let's go into tonight's first poem, okay, from my book, She Shines Anyway. And you guys know that I did edit this book in less than an hour using AI, which allowed me to publish the book faster than ever before through Kindle Direct Publishing. And that's the power of using tools wisely. It saves time, reduces costs, and helps us focus on what matters most. Okay, so yeah, let me find this book. And you know, you can get it either on Amazon, or you can also get it from my website, bewellnesscenter.shop. Yes, you can. All right, so this poem right here, I choose strength so they can know peace. I carried weight so they could walk lightly. I made hard decisions so their choices would be clearer. I stepped away from the noise so they could grow in calm. I didn't do it for praise. I did it so they never confused chaos with normal. So they never settle for disrespect or call dysfunction family. They'll learn love through what I allowed, and even more than what I refused. They'll never know every battle I turned from, and that's the point, because the legacy I'm building doesn't begin in pain, it begins in peace. And this is from my book, She Shines Anyway, 76 poems for the woman that refuses to dim her light. And like I always say, this book is definitely for a woman that wants a little bump, you know, like in the morning and in the evening before starting your day. Just a little something to say, hey, I am her. I am her. Just a reminder. Okay. Yeah, so let's get into tonight's featured book. Like I said, we're going to read a book by Jim Cramer. And let me share some things with you here. So if you've ever tuned in to CNBC's Mad Money, then you know Jim Cramer. He's loud, passionate, and unafraid to give strong advice about the markets. But in this book, Stay Mad for Life, he takes a step back from the daily trading frenzy to focus on what really matters: long-term financial health and building a lifetime of security. Cramer wrote this book after realizing that too many everyday investors were focused on quick trades, risky bets, or relying solely on stock tips without a true plan. He wanted to help people, especially working families, learn how to manage their money, not just for today, but for the next 30 to 40 years. His inspiration came from seeing viewers of Mad Money get excited about one hot pick, but overlook the importance of saving, retirement planning, and consistent investment strategies. In Stay Mad for Life, he breaks down how to create a strong financial foundation, starting with paying down debt and building emergency savings, why retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs are non-negotiables, and how to balance safe investments with smart exposure to the stock market. The mindset shifts needed to take control of your financial future instead of gambling it all away. Cramer's voice is urgent because he truly believes that financial literacy is a survival tool, and that what makes this book valuable is not just about picking stocks, it's about protecting your family's legacy. Now, if you guys aren't quite sure who he is besides from Mad Money, Jim Cramer is more than just a TV personality. He's a former hedge fund manager who co-founded TheStreet.com, an influential financial news site. Over decades, he has built a reputation for being outspoken, sometimes controversial, but always committed to helping everyday investors become better at understanding Wall Street. He has made investing less intimidating for millions, even if his style is a little more energy than some can handle. What sets him apart is that he insists regular families should have access to the same tools and ideas as big institutional investors. Now, Cramer stands alongside other recognizable voices in the finance and investment world, such as people like Warren Buffett. You know, we've been talking about Warren and his son, Howard, but Warren Buffett, often called the Oracle of Omaha, a legend of long-term value investing. Peter Lynch, famed for his managing of Fidelity Fund and encouraging investors to invest in what you know. Suze Orman, known for her practical advice on personal finance and debt management, and Dave Ramsey, often cited for his straightforward debt-free living strategies. Now, Jim Cramer also has a brand new book that is scheduled to be released on September 30th. It's titled How to Make Money Anytime. And this one leans more into strategies from different market conditions, teaching investors how to profit whether stocks are climbing, falling, or moving sideways. But for tonight, we are grounding ourselves in his earlier wisdom with Stay Mad for Life, because building a financial legacy does 100% start with stability. Okay, guys? Now, let's go into Business Corner, because in Business Corner, we are going to talk more about the book that I've been discussing just now, Stay Mad for Life by Jim Cramer. A reference, it's directly for corporate executives who are starting practice, business, and corporation of their own. That's how I've centered this tonight, okay? Exclusively for us. When Cramer talks about staying mad for life, he's not just telling us to stay excited about the stock market. He's reminding us to stay vigilant, to stay hungry, and to stay disciplined when it comes to protecting and growing wealth. As a corporate executives and a parent who have already invested deeply in private education and family legacy planning, the stakes for us are different. We're not just investing in ourselves. We are investing in continuity, for generational stability, and for the doors that our children and grandchildren will be able to walk through because of the groundwork that we laid today. Cramer emphasizes 3 timeless financial truths that executives should take seriously. 1, build a rock-solid foundation. Now, before chasing growth, he insists on eliminating high-interest debt and securing emergency funds. For families like ours, that also means ensuring Insurance, trust, and estate planning are all in order because wealth without protection can disappear overnight. Two, to take advantage of tax advantage accounts. He stresses that 401ks and IRAs and long-term retirement vehicles, as executives, many of us have stock options, deferred comp packages, or corporate benefits that may be maximized. Those aren't just for perks, they're tools for long-term security. And three, balance risk with reality. Cramer is famous for mad money, but Stay Mad for Life is about measured growth. That means putting the majority of wealth into diversified, steady investments while still having a portion allocated for higher return opportunities. So, lessons for executive parents. Cramer's book teaches us to think beyond the trade of the day and focus on systems that matter, because we've already spent hundreds of thousands on our children's private education. The last thing that we want to do is financial instability, undoing those sacrifices. If we want our children to inherit more than diplomas, they must inherit a model of disciplined wealth management. If we want our grandchildren to thrive, we need to show them that legacy isn't earned, is preserved through consistent strategy. And if we want to stay ahead in volatile times, we must be proactive rather than reactive. The bigger picture here, you guys, is that Cramer isn't saying get rich quick. He's saying get steady, and stay engaged. That's the call to action. For families like ours, the message matters more than ever. You know, the final thing I want to say about this is that I don't currently have Stay for Life available in BeWellnessCenter.shop library selection, but you can definitely find it online through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other major retailers. And let's not forget that Jim Cramer has another book that is coming out September 30th, guys, titled How to Make Money Anytime. I may or may not be carrying that one in our BeWellnessCenter.shop library, but right away, you know, it might not be there the day it lands. Because I haven't seen it on pre-order yet, but what I would recommend is that you do follow him on Instagram and in YouTube, okay, on his YouTube channel for more details about that upcoming release for sure. All right, and yeah, that's that. Let's go on to tonight's hot topic, but first I want to have a little drink. This is so good. I'm telling you, like I said, I'm drinking Fever Tree, the sparkling cucumber, and I love it. I love it. I think it's because it's only 35 calories is why I love it, but I love it. Yeah, so tonight's hot topic, emotional intelligence culture and China's competitive edge, then and now. So now, before we begin this hot topic, let me say this. I'm not going to be talking about cyberbullying tonight, even though there is, in fact, a nationwide crisis right now on all campuses, college campuses, including my own. And yes, I have gone back to school, like I say all the time. Yes, I have. But instead, I want to pivot and stay focused on business tonight, because it is so imperative that we 100% as corporate executive parents who come from families who have invested in our education and who are also investing in our children's education and grooming them to be entrepreneurs, investors, philanthropists, and basically, as far as I'm concerned, downright just decent human beings, okay? Make sure that when they go online, they see it for what it is. It's a business. Online is for business purposes only, and our kids need to be crystal clear on that fact. So, you guys remember that last week we spent some time talking about a book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It's written by Travis Bradberry and Gene Greaves. So on page 242, because I don't know if you guys had got it, because like I said, I don't carry it in BeWellnessCenter.shop's library yet, but you can definitely have gotten it from Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, Books A Million, places like that, and other retailers. But on page 242 of that book, there's a section that still strikes to me, and I wanted to share it today. I saw it again, and I said, you know what, let me share this with these guys. okay, because it is so relevant today. All right, it says that made in China just doesn't mean what it used to. Manual labor by the country's 1.3 billion citizens was long considered its sole competitive advantage in the global economy. While America businesses turned a blind eye to Chinese labor, the country's now growing skilled workforce stands as the biggest competitive threat to American business today. And they back that statement with examples like in 2004, Lenovo, China's computer giant, purchased IBM's PC division for 1.5 billion, and in 2005, US investors scrambled for the year's largest IPO, a Chinese bank with 521 billion in assets, marking the first major Chinese financial institution to offer shares overseas. And even then, China was America's largest creditor. The point was clear. The so-called sleeping giant was already awake. So we fast forward to 2025 and we have to ask ourselves, is this still relevant? Is this still the case? And the answer is yes, in many ways it still is. China continues to graduate more engineers and scientists annually than the US and Europe combined. Its tech giants rival American firms in AI, telecommunications, and finance, and it still holds enormous U.S. debt and yields financial influence. Made in China now often means both manufactured and innovated there. But so much has actually changed. So the U.S. pushback through these tariffs and semiconductor restrictions have slowed Chinese expansion into several sectors. Chinese have diversified supply chains, building in India, Mexico, and Vietnam to reduce reliance on China. Now, the U.S. has reclaimed ground by investing in Domestic Manufacturing Chips Act and doubling down on artificial intelligence as a strategic tool. So while the balance of power hasn't completely shifted, China remains a serious competitor, and the lessons from 2005 are still instructive today. Now, what does this mean for corporate executives? Why am I bringing this up? Because if you are a corporate executive transitioning into business, okay, and if you come from corporate America and are now building your own corporation, practice, or let's just say your own practice, small business, or corporation, there are three powerful takeaways that you need to be aware of. Number one, invest in knowledge workers, starting with yourself. Just as China built strength by growing its intellectual workforce, you must invest in continuous learning and surround yourself with people who bring skills beyond your own. This is where emotional intelligence matters. Hiring, leading, and motivating people where expertise complements your vision. Number two, adopt long-term strategy over short-term wins. China's rise wasn't overnight. It was decades on planned investment. As an executive turned entrepreneur, don't fall into the trap of chasing quick revenue while ignoring systems, build infrastructure, automate processes, and think in decades, not in quarters. Number three, leverage artificial intelligence as your competitive edge. Where China leveraged scale and discipline, you can leverage AI. AI allows a small practice to operate like a corporation. Okay? Automating customer service and scheduling, using predictive analytics for market trends, personalizing client interactions at scale, cutting operation inefficiencies that cost 6 figures per quarter. Expanding on skilled labor for executives. And when we talk about skilled labor, it's not just a natural issue, it's a personal one for executives in transition. Skilled labor today doesn't only mean electricians, mechanics, or coders. It also means knowledge workers who bring strategy, adaptability, and technical skill to your practice or corporation. For executives launching new ventures, the challenge is twofold: attracting skilled labor that can grow with your vision, and becoming skilled yourself in leveraging modern tools like AI, automation, and data-driven systems. This is where AI can assist. and even myself, because I guide executives in understanding how to integrate these tools into their business, not just for cost saving, but for scalability and legacy building. By applying AI responsibly, you can run leaner, smarter, and more effectively while positioning your business as a leader in today's economy. Okay, so here's the closing thought on this. The lesson from Emotional Intelligence 2.0 still rings true. Ignoring the long-term game is costly, and whether it nations on the global stage or executives stepping into entrepreneurship, success belongs to those who build strategically, invest in people, and adapt with intelligence. China's rise was built on discipline and foresight. America's response and your response as an executive in transition should be built on innovation, emotional intelligence, and the responsible use of artificial intelligence to multiply your reach and protect your legacy. Okay, and that's my business corner thought for the night on that. So before I read a closing poem, guys, let me have another sip of our drink. So let's read a closing poem from my book, She Shines Anyway. Okay, and like I said, you know, you can find it at bewellnesscenter.shop. And I think we're here. Yes. This is called Love Looks Like Boundaries. I don't let people in, not because I'm cold, but because I finally understand what love is supposed to look like. Love isn't loud apologies after quiet disrespect. It's not being chosen only when it's convenient. Love doesn't ask you to shrink, stay silent, or stay stuck. Real love respects space. It doesn't test your tolerance, and it's a call of passion. It honors your time, your clarity, your peace. So now when I say no, it's not rejection, it's protection, because love looks like boundaries, not begging. Do you guys like that? So, yeah, that's it. That's what I got for tonight, you guys. Okay, you guys know I do a podcast called What We've Been Waiting For Unedited. It's over on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, everywhere most podcasts stream, and it's a social science podcast. It's every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. 9 p.m. Pacific time. So you got to check that out sometimes. And yeah, that's it. Just make sure you tune in tomorrow, same place, same time. I thank you for coming. I hope you had a great weekend. Now we have a whole new week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.